Good morning and welcome to another edition of Live from the Heartland. I'm Lisa Smith. We are broadcasting from the beautiful Heartland Cafe at the corner of Glenwood and Lunt. So feel free to stroll on in and join us any Saturday morning. Today we have one half of Lelavision Physical Music here today. Ela Lamblin, do I have that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. Ela, thanks for coming. I know you and Leah Mann, the other half of the team, are just visiting here from Seattle, actually Vashon Island, which not too many people probably know about who are from Chicago. You're here for a short visit. You're performing at the Chicago Humanities Festival, and you're teaching, and you're really super busy. So I'm really glad you could make it.
Well, thank you.
What you do, what Lelavision does, is really, really, it's going to be a challenge to describe what you do. You create your own instruments, and they're, what do you call a musical sculpture?
Yeah, yeah. Sound sculpture, musical sculpture, yeah.
And you also combine music, dance, aerial choreography, theater, of course, to produce these, physical music. So, okay, I have to ask the obvious questions, like, how did you start out, and what's the goal?
What's the goal?
Well, I mean, I know that you probably have very rarefied, mission statements and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, right. The instruments came about after I've played music most of my life, but when I was in college, I was studying sculpture, and I just started combining a lot of ideas from instrument making with sculptures to create one-of-a-kind instruments. And once I started doing that, it just kind of became evident that that was going to be my path. And so at this point, I'm pretty much focused on trying to invent my own instruments that are also visual pieces and also lend themselves to physical performance or kinetic in some way, or move about. Some of them are wheeled. Some of them are mechanical. Some of them are more traditionally musical, played with bows or in various ways. But
now, I know that your info on your webpage says that you all start out in Atlanta. How did you get from Atlanta to Seattle? Is Seattle a more creatively fertile area than Atlanta? Or was it just...
Possibly. Well, I went to college in Atlanta. That's where I met Leah. And Leah had a professional dance company there. Started a company called Moving in the Spirit. And we started collaborating right out of college. And I was doing musical accompaniment to her dances. And then the instruments themselves demanded so much attention on stage that we realized we should make them the focus of the performance, not off to the side. And so at that point, we kind of rethought the nature of how we created the work.
So instead of an accompaniment.
Exactly. It became really like the centerpiece, and the choreography and the music was really, comes from the instrument itself. So we started working, and then I was looking to move to another city in Seattle. I grew up in Southern Oregon, so it was
you were from the Pacific Northwest originally.
Northwest thing, yeah. And there's a lot of arts funding there and a strong community, and so I just kind of gravitated there. And it worked out well for me. I immediately got a job using my instruments with the theater company and started designing musical sets for them. And then a couple years later, our work together as Lelavision with Leah, who's also my wife, really took off, and we just started focusing on that. And well,
you do a lot of things with seniors and Alzheimer's patients. That's like a side?
It's kind of a side thing. Yeah, we participated in a program. We were hired by this Society for Arts and Healthcare to perform at their annual conference, and it was being held in Gainesville, Florida. And as part of their, our contract to perform with them, they had us go into the hospital and play music for some cancer patients in the hospital. And actually, the instrument I brought today is the one I usually take to hospitals. And it was a really amazing experience to bring this very unique and eye-catching instrument that also is very haunting and beautiful sounding into the hospital. And it was profound for us and for the patients. And we thought, why isn't there something like this in Seattle? So we started our own program that puts musicians in the hospital, and we're just like one set of many musicians that kind of rotate through Harborview Hospital in Seattle. So.
All right. But getting back to your performances and what I was saying earlier about it being challenging is because, you can go to your webpage, Lelavision.com, and you've got all kinds of video clips of different pieces that you've created. But if you could maybe try to describe some of them. I mean, I know that's really hard because it's sort of like, it looks like it's more of a total experience than just sound or just visual. One of the things that looked interesting, I mean, okay, the harp that looked like it was not a vertical harp like you normally think of, but sort of like a piece of taffy that's been sort of stretched horizontally, and there was dance involved with that.
Yeah, we call this the long wave, and what's really unique about that instrument is it's based on a longitudinal vibration. So most harps, you pluck the strings, and it causes a transverse vibration. The string moves up and down. You can see it move up and down. But a string can actually move in several different modes of vibration, and one of them is the longitudinal vibration. That means it's moving forward and back along its axis.
Does it mean they're doing harmonics, or
it's
it
actually
kind of
a
sounded
different
like harmonics?
Well, because the sounds are very high pitched, it does sound a lot like harmonics. It's also a very harmonic rich timbre that it creates, but it's a physically different type of vibration in the string. The strings the longest one is about 20 feet long.
Wow.
It is still high pitched for the most part, and this is because it's just following this different mode of vibration. We rub it with rosin gloves, and what happens is the rosin is sticky, and as you rub it with the glove, it's grabbing the string and letting go, and grabbing and letting go. Really quickly, that sets up a vibration. The best known instrument that uses this sort of vibration is probably the cuica from Brazil, which is like a little
never heard of that one.
Bamboo skewer that's attached to a drum head, and you rub it with a cloth, and it goes.
I thought that's not more like an Australian thing, but okay. All right, I'll go.
So
with that.
it's based on a longitudinal vibration, and each string is one note, so that's why I call it a harp, and it's kind of
just
like
not plucked, and it's a whole different animal, really, but it's close to a harp.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you, I want to keep mentioning this. You guys are here for the Chicago Humanities Festival. You're not just performing like one time. You've got, about 8 performances scheduled between
12.
now?
I think there's 12
between
shows,
now and next Sunday.
Yeah, 8 more, yeah.
Yeah, so this is a fabulous opportunity. Anyone who's trying to figure out what we're talking about, you will be intrigued and amazed if you check this out. But so there are also lots of opportunities, and the prices are very reasonable. Very reasonable. This is, a fantastic opportunity to catch these guys in action. Now, I think what I was asking you earlier was, you don't just develop one piece and tour with that or perform that. You've got a lot of things that you can just pick and choose from that you're going to present. It's not just going to be one thing.
Yeah. Our performances consist of multiple instruments, and each instrument is really like a 10-minute or so performance piece of itself, and we kind of move around from instrument to instrument. And in the show here, we have 6 large scale, and by large scale I mean 20 feet long or 15 feet high, or so we have 6 large instruments, and then several smaller ones that are only person sized.
Only person sized, yeah.